Hello, everyone. Seraphin here. Welcome back to what is going to be the epilogue episode of Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. When I last left you guys, we took down the final chapter of this game, part of the campaign. We defeated the Demon King, and we are moving on to the epilogue so we can see the ending of the story as well as all of the various character endings for this game. Just about every Fire Emblem game does this. They go through the whole, well, this is what happens at the end, and here's what happens to all the individual people. Their endings do change depending on who they paired off with in certain circumstances. It'll also tell you like their battle records, how many battles they fought in, how many kills they got, that kind of deal. So here is La Rochelle saying Erica should join her tea club. I'm not sure how it's going to be possible when they live so far apart, but I'll start with what can be done and keep going from there. Well, that's fair enough. It's nice that Innes finally comes out and be like, you know what, yeah, you guys are my friends. I'm sorry I'm such a jerk. We don't know what becomes of Grotto, unfortunately, because, well, no one's there left to rule it. I don't think they ever actually touch on that. I guess we'll find out in the character endings. Why do we get to have Ralston's Sacred Stone now? Uh-oh. No, Erica, stop. No, who gave her that? Well, at least she's finally realizing that she needs to just, let it be and not screw with stuff. Fire Emblem, roll credits. Fantastic, I suppose. Alright, so here is the staff credit, the obligatory staff credits. Executive producer Satoru Iwata. Man, I don't know if I've talked about Satoru Iwata at all during my playthrough. There's a cutscene we never got to see. That is Queen Ismare being cut down and giving her last moments to her son, apparently there. And here's La Rochelle with Dazla and Rennick fighting a bunch of monstrosities. I don't know why these weren't, like, interlaced throughout the actual gameplay. You'd think that would have made sense for them to do that. That looks, is that Valter fighting a bunch of people? I have no idea, I can't tell. Sachiko Wada is the character artist for this game and is fantastic. There's Seth with Kyle, Ford, and Franz. They're all Knights of Renee. Yeah, Sachiko Wada is actually still doing character art for Fire Emblem with Fire Emblem Heroes. And primarily actually draws a lot of the characters from Sacred Stones. There's Innes, Tana, Cyrene, and Vanessa. So, Satoru Iwata, he was, up until a few years ago, there we got mercenary peoples, was the president of Nintendo Japan. I think he died a few years ago. I'm not sure exactly how many years ago. It's been at least 3 or 4 now, I think. But he was very well loved and very well respected by Nintendo. Not just Nintendo of Japan, but Nintendo of America as well. He's kind of the person who helped bring in the silver age of Nintendo, so to speak. Which is funny because when he first took over the position, he actually was overseeing a lot of really bad times for Nintendo. Like when the 3DS had just come out and wasn't selling very well, and the Wii U had just come out and also was not selling very well, and he actually ended up making a lot of drastic changes in order to make the company profitable again. But he also ended up cutting a lot of his own salary to keep his workers, working, which was amazing of him. But he, at his heart, was a designer, a developer. He loved to program and code, and he also, at his heart, was a gamer. And he liked to design things that were cool. And here we got a little cutaway thing at the end here. This is when Ephraim and Erica first meet Leon, presumably. Alright, so there's that. Moving on, here is our turn count records here. Did pretty well, I think. 22 turns on 5X, only because I was using nothing but Ephraim. Yeah, I think I did pretty alright. 313 turns total across 23 chapters. Never used Seth. I just realized we never used Seth. We didn't really have to. He actually is very good, by the way. If you decide that you need a good paladin and don't want to bother training Franz, he is a very acceptable substitute. In some ways, he's actually even better. He's actually got passable resistance, while Franz obviously did not. Speaking of Franz, he barely scraped a 50% kill rate out of all the battles he engaged in, which is okay. But anyway, I was talking about Satoru Iwata, and the man was just... He had a heart of gold and was an amazing man and very talented, and he's actually part of the reason why Fire Emblem was so successful. The series creator, Shozo Kaga, was the person who invented Fire Emblem, so to speak, and got it off the ground. But he actually stepped down from Fire Emblem and Nintendo at large. Actually, I don't think he was ever part of Nintendo. He was part of Intelligent Systems, which is who develops Fire Emblem to this day, even. But they're owned by Nintendo now. That being said, Kaga stepped down after Thracia 776, the 5th game in the series. So, starting with the Game Boy Advance titles, Kaga was not involved. And I believe at the time, Satoru Iwata was actually part of Intelligent Systems also. And he had a very big hand in developing a lot of these games. I don't know when he stopped developing and started becoming more of an executive, but it was later in his career. But sadly, he died about, like I said, 3 or 4 years ago from, I think, pancreatic cancer or something. Very abrupt, very sudden, and very stunning to a lot of the gaming community that knew him and loved him. I was one of those people. I was very upset to hear about him passing, but at any rate, thankfully his legacy does live on. Nintendo is certainly more profitable than ever, especially with the likes of things like, especially like Fire Emblem Heroes. That game has made, I believe, over like $400 million since it came out, and it's a freaking mobile game. Like, I'm pretty sure Heroes is the best-selling Fire Emblem game by a country mile, and you play it on your phone. That being said, I'm pretty sure I'm directly responsible for a lot of those sales figures. I've unfortunately spent far too much money on that game. I haven't recently. It's kind of gotten a little bit lackluster in recent months, and I've kind of died down as far as me playing it all the dang time. I used to be literally logging into it every single day and playing it every single day, but I don't do that quite anymore. I mean, I still come back to it every so often and play around with it when they have new events going on, but it's not nearly as enjoyable as it used to be, unfortunately. I'm hoping they start picking it back up, but here we have Naomi, the Tearful Archer. She actually had a really decent record for kills there. It's like, what, almost 75%? Pretty close. I guess like 70% all told. She did good. I really wish she turned out a little more, I'm not going to say min-maxed, but as you saw at the end there, her stats were just a little too balanced and not really particularly good in any one area. And I put a lot of effort into her only to end up not using her, which is a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have used Arthur too. He's actually quite good. If you want a really good light magic user early on, rather than waiting to promote Mulder or Natasha or La Rochelle, he's a very, very good unit to use in that regard. It just so happened that Mulder was more useful to me, being a healer. Natasha is actually better than Mulder in almost every respect, except for her constitution and probably defense, but unfortunately she just comes a little bit too late. Mulder's already established and has very good stats already. That being said, if you're taking the time to train and grind out in the Tower of Valny, Natasha is definitely a better choice than Mulder. She has really low constitution later on if she's promoted. Like, I don't even think she can use a lightning tome without speed loss, but maybe she can, I'm not sure. La Rochelle can, there's no reason Natasha can't. Yep, so Joshua became king of Johanna. He never outgrew his love of gambling. Speaking of Natasha, there she is. We never even used her. I think we used her a little bit to heal briefly during Chapter 5 when we first got her, but I quickly benched her after that. She returned to Grotto to help rebuild the Empire. Well, how did she do that? Like, here's the thing. Who's going to be taking over rule of Grotto? Have they established that yet? I haven't seen it in any of these character endings yet. The Wild Knight. Ford, who was widely overshadowed by his younger brother. Ford's terrible, by the way. I mean, it's not that he's... Okay, it's not that he's terrible. It's that he's outclassed by literally every other Cavalier and Great Knight in the game. He's the worst one. And when there's 4 other contestants for a mounted paladin on your team or mounted great knight on your team, I mean, you can use as many as you want. But when you have people who just do his job better for as much investment, you might as well just use someone who's better than him. Like, I used Franz, and I used... I guess I could have used Kyle, but he didn't turn out very great either. Could have used Seth. Could have used Dusel. But, I mean, let's be honest, there just wasn't really much reason to. Tana, however, was amazing. Definitely the best Pegasus Knight in this game, no questions asked. Vanessa's also quite good, but as you saw, she struggled with strength. Very fast, a lot of luck as well, just like Tana. And also a lot more skill than Tana, generally, but... Yes, of course, Innes would succeed his father. I like how his only kill was a boss kill. His tactical prowess. So yeah, strategician, that's an interesting term, isn't it? They actually kept that for his hero's quote, or his hero's descriptor. Is a regal strategician. I'm like, that's a cool title. I want to have that. Cyrene is meh at the best. She's the worst of the Pegasus sisters. Mostly because she's pre-promoted and is just kind of meh. Amelia, you know, I would have liked to have gotten some more potential use out of her. She actually is quite good if you bother to train her. I like to make her, as I mentioned, either a Great Knight or a General. I don't think making her a Paladin is super useful when there's so many other better options for Paladins. You're better off making her something that there's not a lot of options for already. Like, you can have 5 Paladins by the time the game's over if you wanted to, including her, but you don't need to. And here's Dusel. He's actually pretty cool, too. He was instrumental in rebuilding. So, it doesn't say that he took over as the leader or anything. He's a combat instructor. Okay, so who's ruling the place? And here's Noel, who we also did not touch. I guess he had 1 combat. Fulfilling Leon's vision. What vision was that? Bringing back the Demon King? Huh. He just disappeared. Well, when the country was restored to former glory, who took over? Cormag? Did Cormag do it? To assist in reconstruction. Aloof Lanceman is his title. He left to wander on his own. Well, we know his brother didn't take over because, well, he's dead. He reappeared. He joined the army as not as a knight, but as a common soldier. That's really weird. Why would you do that? Ah, La Rochelle. So good. She never lost her ... unique perspective on life. I love it. So she was rarely ever at home, it sounds like, when she was queen. Dazla of the Steady Axe. Well, steady is one way to put it, I guess. Seriously, is he a dwarf or not? He looks like a freaking dwarf. He could be. I don't know. They haven't really established any other, you know, like, fantasy races other than humans in these games. I guess and Monarchites, but they're just little dragon girls. Like, there's not elves, there's not dwarves, there's not gnomes, that kind of deal in these games. Rich, quote-unquote, merchant. I like it. He was forced to return. Well, I mean, that's summarized pretty easily there. Ah, the Desert Tiger. This guy's a beast. Quite literally, as it would seem. Desert Tiger. He had more job offers than he could handle. Huh. Seems to be happening a lot. People just piecing out for no reason. Oh, Tethys. Can't fight, but dang, are you ever useful. Wow. Makes you wonder why she was fighting with mercenaries in the first place, if she doesn't actually fight. I would have liked to have used Ewan, too. He's actually incredibly good, and he could have been a very good druid, so I would have actually had a dark magic user on my team, but because he came so late and I didn't want to do some off-screen grinding or anything, I just felt better to just not take the time to train him up, and honestly, loot's probably better anyway. She's not a dark mage, but her magic and speed are so blasted high it does not matter. The Crimson Flash. She's also very good. She's actually on par with Joshua. She lacks a little bit in the strength department by comparison, but she's so blasted fast. And I think her luck is also incredible. She's impossible to hit. Sola's pretty good. He remained a faithful servant of the Manakete. Well, that's cool. He's like I said, he's like a discount Pent from FE7. He's okay, but he's not like stellar or anything like that. If you bother to train him and use him up, he's halfway decent, but loot will just out overshadow him, generally speaking. Oh, Myrrh, you're so good. She returned to Darkling Woods. Huh. Yeah, she's like several hundred years old already. I don't know how long Monocates generally live, but if Tiki from Awakening's anything to go on, they can live for millennia. Although Tiki is like the embodiment of the goddess Naga, so I don't know if she's special in that regard. Well, that's good. Restoration King, yes. His success made him a legend. Well, that's interesting because he's a legendary hero. So what's unusual is that Ephraim and Erica become the king and queen of Renee. Like, what? Like, hold on. Shouldn't one of them be the ruler and the other be like the crown prince? Not the crown prince. Or crown prince. Oh, I guess they would be because they're technically going to be the heir if the other one dies or something. They shouldn't be joint rulers, though, if they're siblings. That would only apply if they were married or something. I guess that's where a lot of the other misconception comes from, that they're like an incestual couple. At any rate, so that is that. That is the... I guess we don't see battle records as far as, like, you know, who got the most kills or anything. That might just be a Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn thing. At any rate, there is a post-game to this, as I mentioned earlier. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is... where is it? I think it's just restart chapter and restart the epilogue? No? Maybe not? No, it just plays that over again. That's not what we want. Alright, never mind. Skip that. I don't want to go through all this nonsense again. How do you get to the freaking creature campaign? Hold on, I'm going to reset. Let's try that again. I know you can get to the bloody creature campaign somehow. Let's go back to extras real quick. Map. That's what I wanted. Map. Here we go. So, the last level is still counted as completed. I don't think you can re-engage the map. No, you can't. So that's it. The whole campaign is done. We still have the epilogue completed, but we have the option to continue playing, as it were. So you'll notice now I have an option to enter the question mark shop, because now you can enter the secret shops of all of the places where they were from the world map, which is pretty interesting. You still need a member card, though, and nobody's currently holding it. So why don't I get somebody who can hold it, namely this gentleman here. Get the silver card, too, just for kicks and grins. So there's a hidden shop here in Rouston Court, and it holds some really neat stuff. Like, you couldn't actually get this if you went here on the map during the battle, like Chapter 19. None of the stuff would be here. So you can buy the brave weapons, you can buy the battle axe, spear, shamshear, maximum level magic, physics stabs. And look at this, you can actually buy stat boosting items. And that's most of them. I think it's only missing talisman, body ring, and boots, or swift souls they're called in here. And also promotion items too. So yeah, lots of fun goodies to buy in there now. And I think... does Frelia have a secret shop? I don't remember. Let's take a look real quick. I'm curious. No, it does not. Renee, I don't think, has one either. Nope. Johanna definitely does, though. I know that for a fact. Yep. Let's take a look and see what's in this one. We get Reaver Weapons, which we can already buy. Killer, which we can already buy. There's Brave Lance. Siege Tomes. You can buy Siege Tomes from here, which is awesome. And Fortify and Recover Staffs. Here's the Body Ring. Buy lockpicks, which you don't need if you've got Rennick or a rogue promoted Calm, I guess. And then I think Grotto has the last secret shop. Yep, there it is. So there's the 3 you can access from the map. Once again, Reaver Weapons, Brave Sword, Eclipse, which, woohoo, alright. Silent Staff, there's the Talisman. So yeah, between the 3 secret shops, you can buy all of these stat-enhancing items. And what's really neat is, if you grind out in the Tower of Valny or the Lagdao Ruins, you can effectively get infinite money. And what that effectively lets you be able to do is max out everybody's stats. Like, everybody on your bloody team. Just everything maximum level. So, I haven't decided if we're going to go through and do all of this just yet. I think I'm leaning toward yes. Let me know what you guys think. But there, as I mentioned, there's 10 floors to the Lagdao Ruins, and there's 8 floors to the Tower of Valny, and there are reasons to go through and do these in the post-game. Apart from just earning experience and getting some free items and some free cash, there actually is some secret prizes you get from completing both of these things. So I might show those off just for the sake of showing you guys what you get. Some of them are really cool, others are kind of meh, but especially the Ruins, clearing that out, holy smokes, you get some good stuff. But that being said, I think I'm going to spend some time outfitting everybody, now that we can buy all the really fun, awesome weapons and stuff that we want. I might take this time to use this massive pile of gold that I have and outfit everybody appropriately and build a team to go through the tower and the ruins, and maybe we'll do that. It'll be a little while, I'm going to be honest. Some of those levels take a long time, so if you guys are happy with settling in and watching Sacred Stones for another probably a month and a half, either that or I can move on to another Fire Emblem game. More than likely it's going to be Path of Radiance next, which is one of my favorite ones. Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance being my two favorites, and they kind of play one into the other, so either we'll settle in for that next time, or I'll continue with the creature campaign on this game. So let me know what you guys think. I'll probably have already started recording it by the time I see your responses, but I know there's not very many of you that watch at the moment, but hey, I'm open to seeing what you guys want me to do, so let me know. I'll make a decision one way or the other, and we'll see where we go from there. But for now, the epilogue is over. You got a chance to see all the fun new toys on the world map here, and either we'll resume next time with more of this, or we'll move on. So that being said, thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys either in the continuation, the post-game of this game, or a new series. And until then, thank you very much for watching. As I've said, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.